In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a shrink ray with Unity3d. Hey everyone, so we're going to make a script that when you click a cube, it shrinks its scale. So I went ahead and made a shrink ray script. And we're going to use this as our base class. And then the shrink object class will be how we handle the actual object transform getting changed. So first we're going to reference the camera so we can do a ray cast, which will activate the shrink. And then we're going to make a scale multiplier. So this will scale the unit you click on by about a half. And this is how long it will take to get to the new scale. So every time we click its unit, it's going to add to this list, and it's going to loop through the list, and for every object, the shrink is going to happen. If you click a button, it's going to cast a ray and then hit an object. So with this, it'll hit any collider. If you want to put in some kind of layer mask or something, you can put that in one of the parameters here. But for now, any object it hits, it'll start shrinking it. And now we're going to loop through the new list. So now we have to add the functionality. We have to add the shrink functionality, and then when it's done shrinking, we want to remove from the list. And also we want to make sure that if the object is currently shrinking, we want to make a flag so that it doesn't, you can't keep causing it to shrink. It has to be finished before you can click it again. So we're going to make a flag that prevents spam. So I want to serialize this so we can see it in the inspector every time I click. With the script somewhat created, let's go ahead and add it to the camera. Assign the camera here to that variable. And I made a scene with a simple plane and 3 simple cubes. You can make those by just right-clicking in the hierarchy, going to 3D object, cube, or plane. The functionality what you want to add is the ability to shrink, and we want to create a constructor class as well. This will reference the object when that's clicked. We want to store the scales. So this will be the new scale that it shrinks to, and then this is the original scale. And the reason we're using these two values is because we're going to lerp between them. This is so we can lerp And then we want a duration. So this will be our animation time. So we want to pass in the target, the multiplier, and the duration. And let's go ahead and assign them. So the new scale will be the local scale, target's local scale, multiplied by the new multiplier. And then we want to assign the duration. Okay, that's our constructor class. Now we want to create a shrink function that we're going to reference. So to manipulate the local scale, we want to store it in this value. And then we want to go ahead and modify that stored value and then reassign it. So we're looping between the original scale, which in this case could be like 1, new scale, which would probably be like 0.5, and then this will allow it to show the animation between the two values. And then we're going to add the time elapse at the bottom of this function. So first we're changing the x, then the y, and then the z. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this and then just change the variables. So we want to change this to y, change the y and y here, and then we also want to modify the z vector as well. And now we want to reassign it back to the target. And we're going to use time delta time to capture the animation. So with the constructor class and the shrink function, let's go ahead and modify this line right here. So now the target will be the hit.transform from the raycast, and then we're going to pass in the scale multiplier and the scale duration. And then here, now we can reference the shrink function. So now we just need to make sure that once the animation's done, we remove it from the list. So we have to make a is shrunk flag. So if we've reached the end of the duration of the scale animation, or the target's local scale equals the new scale, then we're done. So now we want to check to see if we are currently shrinking. So we're going to compare the targets inside the list already. So if this target exists in the list, that means it's still shrinking, so we're going to return true. Otherwise, let's return false. And this is because this target value needs to be public. So let's go ahead and modify this And I'll change this to be consistent. All right. And now we can remove it from the list when we know that it's the animation's done. So we no longer need to use it. And I'm leaving the serialization here so that we can see it at runtime. You can now click these objects. Notice they shrink at runtime. When you click, they add to the list, and they remove themselves when the animation is done. Also, with the is shrinking flag, it'll prevent spam, so if I keep clicking this, it'll only start the animation when it's, finished with its animation. So it prevents spam, and then you can modify these values to see what works in your game or project. To keep this hidden in the inspector, let's remove the serialized field. And now we're done the script. Thanks for watching this video. If you like it, please don't forget to put a thumbs up on the video. And if you have any comments or questions, don't forget to post down below in the description. And if you like raycasting, check out this video right over here. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one.